Alright, so in this video I'm building out the Lions Order website. Now before I got started with this, I took a piece of paper, drew a long rectangle, and sketched out basically the different sections I wanted. I have background images for those that I want, and the content written over on my desktop. I have a folder that has everything that I need for the website, all the back orders, and then of course, as you see here, I also have the theme that I'm planning on using. I have the files for my shirts, everything that I need, and inside the website I have all the images I'm going to use, the background images, my content, and then I also have some files for the legal pages, and all this stuff will be available in the resources page on the Lions Order once the site is finished and complete. So getting started, we're going to come over here to the website itself, and we're going to go ahead. I'm logged in, which is why this bar is sitting across the top. So we're going to hover over my blog. Sorry about the YouTube alerts. We're going to hover over my blog and click on dashboard. Now what we're going to do is a basic quick run through to delete all of the placeholder content that is currently there. And then after that, we're going to install a few plugins, move straight into syncing with Printful from the get-go. Once we get it synced with Printful, then we're going to finish the design on the website. And the reason for that is sometimes if you install a WordPress theme that has WooCommerce files with it, then sometimes the pairing in Printful doesn't always go according to plan. So we're basically going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start removing the dummy content. So we're going to click on post to begin with, and we're going to trash the hello world, and then we're going to click on trash, empty trash, and we're going to do the same thing with all of the different types of content. We're going to click on media. I just want to make sure there's nothing there, nothing in media. We're going to click on links. There should nothing, well, no, we got all these extra links. We're going to click in this section to check all of them. Go to bulk actions, delete and apply. Those are deleted. Now we're going to come down to pages. We're going to delete the about page. We're going to recreate everything as we need it. So we're just going to go ahead and move to trash, apply. Then we're going to go into the trash and permanently delete that one, empty trash. Now we're going to do the same thing to the comments. Comments gone. Now that we have that, we can move forward with the plugins that we need. We're not going to get into every plugin we're going to install right now. That's going to come, like I said, along with when we do the theme and everything. So the only things we need right now, you'll come into plugins and click on add new. You're going to do a search for two plugins right now. The first one is WooCommerce, and you want to make sure it's just WooCommerce. As you see, there's a lot of different plugins that are affiliated with WooCommerce that add different features and things like that. But you want to make sure it's just the WooCommerce put out by Automattic, 1+ million active installs. You'll go ahead and click install now. This is going to go ahead and install the plugin. Once it's installed, you're going to want to activate it, and then we're going to go through the setups steps. Right before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and right-click on Add New and open this in a new tab. You can pause and wait for this to finish and activate and move forward later. If you want to, feel free. The reason I'm doing this is just to try to make sure I don't take up too much of your guys' time. So the next thing we're going to look for is Printful. And you're going to get the Printful integration for WooCommerce. This is going to take care of tax rates because they do have an office in California and North Carolina, so they do have to collect state tax on anything there. Excuse me, and it also takes care of calculating your shipping costs and everything else. So, and this is for selling shirts and canvas prints and stuff. So we're going to click install now and activate. Then we're going to come back here and activate this. And when you activate WooCommerce, it should take you through the WooCommerce setup. And what you're going to do here is everything but the shipping and tax section. We're going to go back into the settings and fix that. So we're going to go ahead and click on Let's Go. The next step is going to create the essential pages for your e-commerce store, such as the shop, cart, checkout, my accounts. So you're going to come down and click Continue. It's going to go create those 4 pages for you. Then you're going to come here, change this to where you are located. This just makes sure everything is set right for tax purposes and everything to track. Should this turn into a full-time business, you will definitely want to make sure this is correct. So you're going to go ahead and click Continue. We're going to skip this step because this is the one I told you that plugin we just put in is going to work. And then on payments, you're going to come in and check on PayPal Standard, and you're going to put in the email address that you use for PayPal here. And all you need is a regular basic business PayPal account. It's 100% free. So you can sign up for that at paypal.com. And so you have your email in. We're going to click Continue. Now that it's completely finished, we're going to click Create Your First Product just to get back to the dashboard. And then we're going to go back to the dashboard. Now that we have that done, I'm going to come over here to my Printful account, which you can get below this video in the description or on this page on the website. You'll see a link that goes to Printful, so you can shortcut it there, which disclaimer is an affiliate link, and I may or may not receive compensation depending on what you do with your store. But that being said, you see I haven't created a store yet, and the reason for that is it has to pair with the website. So now that if we come in here and you click on WooCommerce, you'll see we have WooCommerce set up. We don't have any orders. There's no products in the store. And that's because we're going to do everything through Printful. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down here where it says Connect to an e-commerce platform and click Connect. And then on the next page, you're going to select, if I can talk, it would help, Connect with WooCommerce. And now you're going to get a page that has some instructions. And these are some things that we have to get done in order for everything to work. So the first thing is you need to make sure that you have the most current version of WooCommerce, which we do because we just installed it from the WordPress directory or whatever. The next thing is you need to enable REST API in your WooCommerce settings. So we're going to come back to the site. We're going to hover over WooCommerce and click on Settings. Then we're going to come over here to API, and we're going to make sure that this box is checked and click Save Changes. And then we're going to come back here and see the next step, which is your permalinks. Basically, the only thing you can't do is have it set at default. I personally am going to have it at post name. So, and you're going to do that by coming back to your dashboard under Settings, and then click on permalinks. I think I can. There we go. And you're basically just going to come down, check post name, and it's going to make it so that if you have a blog post, which is Ultimate Guide to Success, then your extension here off of the domain will be Ultimate Guide to Success, right? So it's very easy to see, very easy to share, to look just like this one right here. So you'll see what I mean. It's very easy to remember links and things of that nature, especially if you're going to like about. It's just /about. So we're going to keep that on post name. Come down here and save changes. You can change the permalinks and stuff for your products and stuff for WooCommerce, but for right now, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it just as it sits. Like I said, we're going as basic as possible right now. So we have the post name done. Let's come back here, and then we're going to look at the rest of this to make sure that everything is working properly. So we're going to go ahead and highlight this URL right here, and we're going to copy it by pushing Command-C on a Mac or Control-C on a PC, or you can right-click and select Copy. We're going to open up a new tab. We're going to paste that in here, which is Command-V on Mac, Control-V on PC, or you can just simply click in the address bar, right-click in the address bar and click Paste. And then once that is here, you're going to simply come in between these two brackets, including the two brackets, and put your website in. So I'm going to go order. And I have an SSL certificate on this, so in order to find it properly, we're going to need to add that S and hit enter. Well, let's take the S out and see. That may be a problem. Actually, the problem is I didn't put a .com. So you got to pay attention to this stuff. And so you see all this code here, which means everything is working properly and it's all set up right. So we're going to come back here. And once everything is finished, you're going to want to put in your address right here. So we're going to put https://liansorder.com and click connect. And the next thing you're going to do is click approve. This is giving the authority to your WooCommerce plugin to conversate, if you will, back and forth between Printful. So you're going to click approve. And because I'm logged in at this point, I'm going to click connect to current because it's going to this account. If you're wanting to create it on a new account, you can do that later. Or you can do that there, whatever. Now that this is here, it shows that the account is linked and ready to go. The only thing that you need to do now is actually come into your stores, and this is going to make it easier for it to communicate and everything set up right. We're going to click edit on the settings. We're going to go to API, and we're going to enable API access. This is going to give you an API key that basically gives a backdoor into your WordPress site to communicate back and forth with Printful. So once it's highlighted, we're going to right click and copy, come back here to your dashboard and go to settings under WooCommerce. Once you have this done, you're going to want to come over to integration, and this is going to have all the information you need for putting in the API key and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and paste that key in, and we're going to check on the calculate sales tax for locations where it's required. And we're going to leave, because I have the SSL certificate, I'm going to leave this unchecked. If you do not have an SSL certificate, one, I would recommend that you go ahead and do so. You can grab one in the process or add one later if financials are an issue. You can go ahead and make sure you keep this checked when you get one, and once you make all the changes, you'll just come in and uncheck it. So we're going to leave this unchecked, and we're going to click Save Changes. Now that that is done, we should be 100% successful, hopefully, in pairing and getting everything working. So we're going to come back to the Stores tab, and as you see, we have the store ready. Of course, there's a lot of things that need to change. So because it just says my blog, where we've not done the proper setup over on the WordPress site yet. So we're going to come into settings and click edit, and this is where we're going to come through and customize it for us. So the name is going to be Lions Order. Of course, it's got the keys and everything filled in. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is, if you have Photoshop or know a friend who has Photoshop and you have a logo, see if they can put this together for you, or do it yourself. Or you can use something like Pixlr, which is Pixlr. It's an awesome free software that lets you manage Photoshop apps or files. And basically what this is this is a sticker that's going to not only be on the package slip inside the packaging, but it's also going on the shipping list or shipping sheet that is stuck to the bag that the t-shirts and stuff come in, or the boxes, depending on what you're selling. So people are going to see your logo anytime that package is sitting there. So if John orders one of your t-shirts and has it shipped to his office, when it's sitting on his desk waiting for him to come back from lunch, anybody who walks by his desk will see your logo. So you want to make sure you have this. I already have one done, so I'm just going to come in here under shirts and find the label and go ahead and open it up. So this is going to go ahead and be printed on everything that is shipped out, and you want to make sure that this is the name of your website without the actual domain. which goes back to making sure you find a good domain. So with it being Lions Order, people can go say Lions Order, they associate everything with a .com, punch lionsorder.com in and find the site. So we're going to click Save. And the reason for that is on the shipping return address, the name that's listed here is actually the name that's listed on the shipping details. It's just the return address is listed to Printful, so if they have any issues, they can ship it back, and they'll take care of everything on your behalf with the name associated with it, so you don't have to worry about them getting credit for anything. Now that you have that, let's go back to the stores. You see that it's set up for Lions Order. The next thing we're going to do is go to Print Files, and I'm going to upload one of the shirt designs that I've made, which I've made a few, but right now we're just going to do the Dream More shirt and click Open. And you couldn't see it because the design's white. So now that that's uploaded, let's go ahead and go back to the home page and click on Stores. And now we're going to add a product. Sometimes you will find that it's very hard to get connected. Sometimes you didn't blink right when you clicked a button and it doesn't connect, and we'll find out if we did or not. So I'm just going to click Shirts, and I'm going to go over here and do a hoodie. So we're going to select the Gildan 18.5 Heavy Blend Hooded Sweatshirt. And then you're just going to choose the file. We'll choose this one. We have it there. It's positioned where I want it. Now it's just a matter of selecting the colors that you want. So we're going to go black, navy, indigo, blue, green, maroon, and red. And then we're going to uncheck that one. And let's undo. Yeah, I was going to do only 5, but 6 works. I like those colors. And you want to make sure you have all the sizes selected, just to make it easier in case if some of your people come to your site, you don't want them not to order a shirt because you don't have their size available. So you want to make sure you have all sizes available. Now proceed to mockups. This is the section that's going to be a little touchy. You can decide to do a PNG file, which is a transparent background, which means you can use these images with a custom background in Photoshop, Pixlr or something like that. But it is a larger image. The reason why I'm going to do a PNG is it's going to allow me to save the image and then upload it later with an optimized image from Photoshop. If you're not planning on doing that, you just want to have some shirts up and sell them, you can do the JPEG, and it will help because it's a lower image size. It will help your site load faster. But we're going to check PNG for now and click Proceed to Description. And then now we're going to go Dream More Hooded Sweatshirt and proceed to pricing. Now this is where you get to choose how much profit you're going to make off of this shirt based on what you're going to sell it at. You want to make sure that you stay within a price range that's affordable above all, but more importantly, something to where you're not trying to go too cheap to where because you want to make more than $1 or $2 per shirt. And you want to keep in mind that you're building a brand for the shirts in one way, shape, or form. So you don't want to devalue your brand and go really cheap, but at the same time, you don't want to be known as the brand that nobody can afford their gear or their swag or shirts or whatever. Most of the time, and it sounds crazy that you're getting a 47% profit margin, but at $35 for a good hooded sweatshirt, and that's 35 up to an XL. And even if you go to a 5X hooded sweatshirt for $45, it's quality material. The designs are, hopefully awesome. And since you're building it around a brand, if you go try to get a 5XL Under Armour or Nike hoodie, you're spending at least that, if not closer to $65 or $70. So $45 for a 5X, to me, it's a good price. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. We're not going to touch the prices. You can if you want. We're going to do Publish Product. Then we're going to click Submit to Store. And this is where you're going to find out if it's fully connected or if you have to call Printful to get them to help you with stuff. So right now it's uploading products to the WooCommerce store. So let's see if it actually connects. Hopefully it'll connect. everything will be fine, and it will actually upload the products for you. Then if you go back to your website, you'll be able to actually see that t-shirt or hoodie or whatever it is in the back end of your website. Now, that being said, I do want to give one disclaimer. The one thing that I did find going back to the SSL certificate, it seems to pair better if you're using an SSL certificate. Whether you do or don't, there's nothing that states you have to have one. But like I said, and it shows that it's been added. It shows everything is good to go. So if we come back to the website itself, let's come over here and we'll right click on visit site and open a new tab. You'll see nothing is showing, but we don't have the pages up. So we're just going to do /shop and hit enter, and then we're going to see if that's there, and it is, right? So the hoodie is there. We have the pricing options, and if you click on it, everything looks like it's there. It's set up. Let's say we want the green one. So we're going to select one, click add to cart. It's in the cart. Seems to be working good. Now we can click view cart. It's in the cart. Proceed to checkout. You're ready to go. So you now have online store if you followed along so far. Right now we're going to go back to the main website, and we're going to take this from the default WordPress theme that is currently installed to installing all the plugins we need, the theme we're going to use, and customizing the front page. And I'm going to go through these steps fairly fast. So if you need to pause the video, please feel free to do so. I have all my content written up in a Word document, a text document here. So I know how everything sits. I know how I want everything, what I want it to say in the different sections and pages. So like I said, this may go by fairly quick, so follow along if you can. So we're going to basically go to the dashboard, and we're going to start by installing a few plugins. So we're going to click add new, and this section is going to be like I said, as quick as possible, but I'm only going to install a few plugins, and some of these are for functions we're going to need later on in our marketing of the website, but we're going to go ahead and get these going now. So the first one we're going to do is Pretty Link. And I think it's Pretty Link Lite. Yeah, Pretty Link Lite. We're going to click install now. And this is going to allow you to do shortcodes or like a URL shortener for your website. So instead of using Bitly or one of those other ones, it'll be your website, and then you just change the extension. So if you want it to go to your Facebook page, it'd be like lionsorder.com/FB, and you can redirect that way. So basically, once it's activated, I'm going to show you how this works. You're going to go Pretty Link, add new link, and if you want it to go to, let's say you want to go to your Facebook page. So I'm going to go Facebook, and then I'm going to click on my Facebook page for my personal Facebook page, the CJ Halleck page. I'm just going to, and I'm going to remove this referral link and go back to the page itself. So you see, this is the URL for my page. Now, instead of me saying go to, actually, let's just do Lions Order. It'd be easier. Lions Order. And we have the page here, so I'm going to click on it. Now, I can highlight this and copy it, bring it over in here and paste it under the target URL. Change this to FB, change this to permanent. Title, Facebook page, short link. So anytime someone goes to this link, lionsorder.com/FB, it will redirect to the Facebook page. So if you come under advanced options, you want to make sure tracking is on. Groups and stuff, you can get into that if you want. I just leave it like this, leave the tracking on, and click create. And what that does is you're going to get two different columns in your back office. You're going to get clicks and uniques. Unique is the amount of actual unique people that look at the article, and clicks is how many times total your article's been looked at. So you may have 10 uniques and 12 clicks, which means 2 out of the 10 people open that up twice. So that's Pretty Links. Let's go to plugins, add new. We're going to move on down the list. The next thing we're going to install is Fonts, Fonts. And it's going to be this one down here. Fonts by Brad Dalton-WP Sites. We're going to click Install Now and activate. Then we're going for the next plugin and click Add New. And the next plugin we're going to do is our SEO plugin. So you're going to just put WordPress SEO. And you're going to install its Yoast SEO. Click Install Now. This is going to be one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, if you will, to get you ranking in the search engines. And that's basically all SEO means, is search engine optimization. It's making sure your site is readable and everything is in place that the search engines want to see in order to display your site in the search engines. And so you see there's still some extra plugins in here, and some of these that we did not set up or did not install. And this is the one that I forgot to do initially, which is the Hello Dolly needs to be deleted. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Come in here, and Akismet is going to be your anti-spam plugin. This is going to allow you, if you will, to make sure that you don't get a bunch of spam comments, such as, you know, trying to sell, you know, basketball shoes or, you know, Louis Vuitton purses and stuff like that in the comments. So we're going to click activate. And in order to fully do this, you're going to need to set up an API key. So we're going to click set up your Akismet account. And it should automatically, if you click get your API key, it should automatically sync with your WordPress account. If you're still logged into your WordPress account, we're going to click get an Akismet API key. It should pull that you're logged in, which I am. We're going to click Get Basic. We're going to drag this to 0 because I am trying to do this as cheap as possible so you guys can follow along and I have to spend a lot of money. And we're going to click Continue. Looks like you're adding a site. Activate this site. And now if you go back, not if you go back, but now it should take you back to your WordPress site with all the information in there. You'll click Save Changes. And then we're going to go back to plugins. And now you have all the plugins installed and active that you're going to want to use up until this point. There is only one other plugin that I'm going to recommend that you get, but we are not going to activate it, and that is the P3 Performance plugin. Help if you click Add New. And basically this is put out by GoDaddy, and it's a really good plugin performance profiler. Excuse me, it's a really good plugin. It allows you to look in the back end and see if there's specific. I'm going to go ahead and activate it so I can show you how it works. But it'll basically let you know if there's a specific plugin or something that is slowing, you know, extremely slowing your website down. So if you come under installed plugins, you'll come down to P3 and click Scan Now. And then you're going to want to do Start Scan and do Auto Scan. It's basically going to go through your entire website, all the pages, and it's going to see how the pages load, how fast they load, and what plugins are slowing the load time down. Some of this will give fake results. Of course, because the plugin is the only thing running at full capacity, it's going to show that it's actually taking up the majority of the space. And then you'll see WooCommerce is the biggest plugin running currently. The red one is the SEO, which that always delivers a lot of runtime. The purple one is Pretty Link, and the orange one is Other, which is going to cover all the other plugins you have installed. But because you just got started, there's nothing crazy with it. It's not going to bog it down. We're just going to go back into plugins, and we're going to deactivate this right now so it doesn't take up any more space than we need. And deactivate. Now the next thing we're going to do is install our theme. So we're going to click on Appearance and Themes and click Add New and Upload Theme. Choose File. So I'm going to come back to that cPanel, which is basically the same as FTP, and I'm just going to go into the File Manager and I'm going to upload it that way. So we're going to go ahead and go Document Root and go. Now we're going to do WP Content, Themes, and then we're going to upload from there. But the one thing I need to do, and this is something you're going to want to make sure, is that this is the actual theme file. It may not be the right file. It may be a parent file with the theme inside of it. So just to be sure, I'm going to open that up and check. If you see all this stuff, that means it is the actual file. So it probably just timed out, wouldn't let you upload. So we're going to go ahead and upload file here. We're going to choose this and upload. And you'll see in the bottom right hand corner here where it's actually uploading the file. Once this finishes, you're going to want to go back to your file manager and you'll click reload and it will show this. You'll click on this and then you'll come up to the top and you will click extract and extract files. This is going to open up the theme. We'll close out. And then if you reload again, you'll see it will be in an actual folder. So if we go back to the dashboard and go into Appearance and Themes, you should see it inside the folder, so you can go ahead and activate it. So we're going to click Activate. And now that that's active, this is where it's going to require that you install the Salient Visual Composer I was talking about earlier. But before we do that, to make the site more secure, we're going to remove these other themes that we're not using by just clicking on them and then clicking Delete and OK. And you're going to do this on any theme that is not the parent theme you're using. Basically put these themes sometimes, if not updated and everything, can leave backdoors open for hackers to access your site. So with none of them there but the one you're using, if you keep it updated, you should find it's a lot more secure. Now that you have that, we're going to click on Install Plugins here, or you can use Begin Install Plugins here. Either way, it takes you to the same page. So from here, you're not going to install the Contact Form 7. I am not going to be using that for our contact form. Just simply, we're going to make it easy on the contact form, and we'll get to that later. So we're just going to install the Salient Visual Composer. Once it's finished, we'll activate it, and then we'll get started building the site out and setting up all the settings and going over all that. So now that's installed, we'll return to the installer and activate the plugin. And now that you have that, the site is ready to roll. Now, if you go visit site right now, you'll see it's totally not close to a good-looking website. It's very basic, very plain. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to come back into the dashboard, and I'm going to close out some of these extra tabs that I have open. We'll leave that open. I'm going to close. All right, so the next thing we're going to do from the dashboard is start on the settings. With this, we'll go ahead and X this out so that warning doesn't show up, and we'll hide the notice here. So that being said, now we're going to go in and start working on the settings. We'll close that out again. And so you're going to come down on the side and click on Settings and then do General. And then you're going to start with the site title, which is the name of your website. So we'll do Lions Order. And then your tagline, today is your prey and it's time to eat. That will work for the tagline for now. I will eventually come back and change this. Other than that, you'll just want to come down. You want to make sure your time zone is set to the proper time zone. You don't want to go through, or better yet, if you don't want to go through the UTC time codes, which are all these. If you don't know which one to select, you can scroll up towards the top and then just find a city in the same time zone as you. So since I'm on the East Coast, I selected New York. So that goes ahead and sets that up. Select your date and time format, and what day you want the new week to start on based on your blog, which I have set for Monday, and then save changes. Now, instead of going through the rest of these, we're going to need to come back to this. So we're basically going to get started with the build out of our different pages and stuff. So basically and I had somewhere, there we go, little notepad of the pages that I'm going to have on the website. So I know what pages to create. Now, if you do not have a content put together, please feel free to take the time now to pause the video and come back to it when you have content written and how you want to do your site, or if you want to just watch and see how I do this or how I did this, then feel free. We're going to click dismiss this notice and see if that keeps that from coming back. So we're going to go to posts, and right now, because I'm going to need them for placeholders, I'm going to create 4 posts to basically stay as placeholders on the front page until I start getting the rest of the blog posts up. And actually, before I do that, there's one more plugin that I'm going to install to make this process a little easier, and you may find that this plugin will be great for you. So we're just going to put duplicate post, if I can type. So with this post, what it's going to do, we're going to click install now and activate. What this is going to do is it's going to let you duplicate posts as new drafts. So if you have something that's like a template based blog post, you don't have to go back and copy and paste. It'll actually do it all for you. So we're going to go back here to add new post, and we're basically just going to put placeholder blog post number 1, and we're going to come down here and we're going to set featured image, select files, and we're going under, I think, yeah, that's the placeholder image I got. And if you are in this process of building the site and you want to have the same images like layout that I have, you can get this image in a Photoshop template that'll show you where you need to place the stuff to make sure it shows properly, which I did not make prior to having this image, but you'll know what I mean in a later video as I get into that stuff for writing blog posts. Anytime you upload an image, but I have this in a Photoshop file is what I was meant to get to, that will be free for you guys, that you can get from the Hustle Report on linesorder.com once the site is finished. Every time you upload an image, you want to make sure that you have all the files or all the sections filled out that you need, which is basically the caption is up to you if you want to use it or not. It will not display when you do a featured image, so I don't waste my time with the caption. But I do make sure every image I upload has an alt text and a description on it. And if you see in these, they do not have any of that. So if you're going to use the images from Printful on your site, you want to make sure you go back to those images and re-upload. So basically put an alt text. This is just a placeholder featured image. And I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm not trying to game the system or anything. I just need something to put in there. Normally, if it's something for an actual blog post or something like that, you always want to make sure that you include your keywords in it, but don't stuff it. You know, if this is a featured image for a blog post on how to use Instagram, you would want the alt text to be like, how to use Instagram blog post featured image. Basically put alt text is what Google reads to see what the image is. And so you basically just want to say, this is what it is. So we're going to set featured image. And now that that's going to go in, you're going to see it's actually got the image uploaded. We're not going to get into anything else. I'm not going to put any content in it. I'm just going to hit publish because I need this as a placeholder moving forward. Now we're going to come in to all posts, and then we're going to actually create the next 3 blog posts, but we're going to do it with the duplicate plugin. So we're just going to click new draft, and then we're going to come through and change a couple things on this. So we're going to hover over here, put 2, edit here, put 2, okay, and then we're just going to hit publish, and we're going to do this again for number 3 and number 4. So we're going to go back to all posts, off of 2, new draft. Then we're going to come in here, change 2 to 3, change 2-2 to 3, hit OK. Once that finishes, hit publish. And then we got one more to do. And do all posts, new draft. Three to 4, edit 3, 2 to 4. Sounds like I'm doing some crazy math. And publish. Now that you have this, the next thing we're going to do is actually do a bunch of pages. Now, if you go to all pages now, you'll see that you have the pages created for the e-commerce side of things. And the thing you need to understand is, as I create these pages, you need to know what you want and put those pages together. The only thing that I'm going to do that you guys need to do is basically 4 pages that are an absolute must. We'll say 5 pages. That is a contact page, or 6 pages. Contact, home, about, and then 3 legal pages, which are terms of use, privacy policy, and earnings disclaimer. These are all for Google purposes and legal purposes. I do have templates that are in the downloads resource, or that will be in the resources section for LionsOrder.com. But I highly recommend do not grab them and use them. You feel free to download them, take them to a lawyer, and have the lawyer look it over to make sure that's what you need for what you personally are doing. Like I said, they are templates, so keep that in mind. So we're going to go ahead and get started and click Add New. The first page we're going to create, and we're not going to put content on this yet, is going to be our blog page, which is another one I forgot, but all you're doing is just literally do Add New, type in blog, and hit publish. We're going to have this set as our blog page. We won't need content in it. It will automatically populate with your recent posts. So now we're going to click Add New and do another page. This one's going to be contact, publish. Next one is going to be about. Oh, got carried away. Add New. And about, publish. Like I said, we'll come back in and fill all these out here in a second. Then Add New. And we're going to do terms of use. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab the terms of use content. And I'm going to literally copy. And it's a lot of information. I'm going to right click, copy, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste. Now, where I say it's a template, it is not 100%. I'm not seeing paste, so I'm just going to Command V. It is not 100% ready to go. The one thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, on this page, come down to the bottom where it says URL base. You're going to simply highlight over that, and then you're just going to type in your website. So LionsOrder.com/contact. And the contact page we made is going to be at this address if you followed along with everything. So we're going to click Publish. And then the next page we're going to create is the privacy policy. So we're going to click Privacy Policy. We're going to come back to our folder and open up the privacy policy text file. And then we're going to highlight all of this, right click, copy, and paste. And I'm pasting with Command V on Mac, Control V on PC. And you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to basically just hover over where it says URL base and put in your website. And this one has a lot of them, so we can just go ahead and copy that and paste it in. Make sure your spaces are ready and good to go. And you're just going to continue to repeat this process anywhere that you see the bracket short code for URL base. So you're just going to want to skim through this. Basically this is a template I've had for years, and I've used this on many different sites I've had, which I have URL base on everything. I would recommend looking if you see something that says like Headline Digital or Visionnet Media or CJ Howlett, feel free to, one, let me know so I can change it, but two, just make sure that's changed over to your stuff. So we have Lions Order everywhere that I see the URL shortcode. We're going to hit publish. Then the next thing we're going to do is the earnings disclaimer. So we're going to click on add new again, and then we're going to type out earnings disclaimer. And then we're going to come back here and open up the earnings disclaimer page or content. And then once again, we're going to copy, come back over here and paste, and then we're going to come all the way to the bottom and we're going to put in our website and hit publish. Excuse me. Too much coffee this morning. All right, now that you have that done, we're going to go back to all pages, and I think our home page is the last one left, and it is. So the about page, this is something we're going to do in a minute, but right now we're going to work on the home page. Before we actually create that page, there is a few things we're going to need to do, and we're going to start with Salient and go to General Settings. And once you're in here, you're going to want to actually, before we do that, we need to go Appearance and Customize. And you're going to want to have one thing specific. Under Site Identity, you'll have your site icon. So you're going to want to select the image, and this is going to be 512 by 512. And this is basically what's going to be used, where you see this little, if you see my mouse, this little section right here. We're on YouTube. It has the little play button. Printful has the three mountains, I guess is what that's supposed to be. You're going to have that and need to put that same image size so you can get the favicon, which is what this thing up here is called. And it also works, if you will, as a thumbnail image should someone pin or bookmark your website to their home page or whatever, home screen on their smartphones. This will automatically show up as like the app icon, if you will. So we're going to click open. And of course, once again, this needs to be 512 by 512, which I already had this created. So we're going to come in here. Alt text will be Lions Order logo. Lions Order logo. Transparent. I think. Yeah. Okay. Select. And now that you have that set, if you refresh your page, you'll notice that it has the Lions Order logo up here. Or your logo would be the better way to word it. So we're just going to click Save and Publish. Now that we have that in there, we're going to X out of here and go back to where I thought we were, which is the Salient Settings. So you're not going to need the favicon. We're going to keep all of the stuff on this first section the way it sits. The next thing we're going to do is choose our accent colors, which this is where a lot of the extra features and buttons and things of that kind of thing is going to come in. So we're going to select our colors. I'm going to use orange as my main default. Second one, we'll use blue. And the rest of those are good. I'm just going to change this back to another blue. Make it a little bit on, well, yeah, let's go a little lighter. Okay. And then this one we'll do to blue to start, so it's a little different gradient. And that's only if you use the gradient colors and the headlines and stuff. I probably won't, but we're going to do that. Next thing is a boxed layout. So basically put, if you go back to the website, we'll refresh, you'll see the website goes full width currently, which means it covers the entire width of your browser. Going into a boxed layout, if you turn that on and hit save, you will see the change basically puts it into a box, which allows you, if you want, to do a background image on the outside of this, which is not something I'm going to do. Personally, I believe it looks tacky, so I'm going to turn this off. It's personally up to you. If you like it, by all means use it. I have seen some amazing sites that use this layout. You know, for those of you who are survivalists, if you will, who like to prep for zombies or whatever the case may be, I highly recommend, if you want to see, you know, a good example of the boxed layout is Mask Tactical. And I'm going to go ahead and I think I spelled that right. Show you his website. I absolutely love it. This guy's an amazing hustler. He's here local to me, but this is an amazing site just to give you an example of a good boxed layout. You see he's got, and you can't really see the background that much here, but this is just another site that is built with Salient, and you see the different stuff he's done. Like I said, this guy does some awesome work. So if you like the survival stuff and you're not following a blog that covers this information, by all means, go find Ian over at Mask Tactical. That being said, let's go ahead and get back to work. So basically put, that's the box layout. Typography allows you to change the different fonts and stuff inside of your theme for like the navigation font and everything else. Right now, we're going to leave that the same. I'm basically doing a rush through this to do the basic setup. I'm going to try to get this done by about 1:30 so I can head out for a 2 o'clock meeting. But for right now, we'll just keep going. So we'll click on for use image for logo. I already have these ready. Basically put, you're going to want to have two different logo sizes. One, depending on the height of your image. I would recommend one that, as you see here, this is my regular logo. It is going to be 320 on the width, 320 pixels wide. And the next one is going to be 640 for the Retina display. Lions Order logo. And we're going to change this to gold. And the reason for that is it just makes it easier if you have this stuff done when you get started, so you can actually see how fast this goes once you have it all done. So we're going to upload, select, and do the Retina. And then once again, Retina, if you see over here, once it finishes uploading, will be at 640. And then we're just going to do the same thing and add ret and select. So this will put the logo into the header. Header, remove desktop stickiness. I'm not going to check this. I'm going to leave it sticky at the top. Header sticky on mobile, going to want that. Moving through, header background opacity, if you want to use that or not. I personally would not touch this section, and you'll see why in a second. So we're going to save these changes. The next thing is layout related, where you get to choose how your header is going to look. If you want the header on the side, at the top, I'm going to leave it with the default layout. I love the way it looks. It's better for me. We're going to go full width header. And then we're going to choose header with secondary navigation. We're going to enable social media icons, and then we're going to select the social media icons that we're actually going to use, which is going to be Twitter, Facebook, we'll do Pinterest, YouTube, Tumblr, LinkedIn, RSS, Instagram, and Spotify. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we'll use right now. We'll click Save. And you'll be able to put these in as we move down the settings as far as the URLs for these. So now that you have that, the next thing is to click on Transparency. I'm going to turn this on. This is going to leave the header transparent when you land on the page. So we're going to click Upload. We're going to go here with the regular and to the Retina. And you may want to change this where, because of the color and the way I know this is going to be built, I know this the color scheme of my logo in these images will work for what I want. So you may want to go back and forth and play with this and go back to the site and see what it looks like. But for right now, I know how it's going to look, so we're good to go. Header starting text, header permanent transparent. I'm not going to check this. I want the background there. But I will remove border on transparent header and save changes. So now if you go back to the site and hit refresh, you'll see the website, and the look of the website is totally different than what it was originally. That being said, now that we have this, and I see I missed a step, so we're going to come back here to salient options. We're going to go logo and general styling. And under logo height, you need to have a number here, otherwise it's going to shrink it down like super small like this. In order to decide what the logo height needs to be, if you have a rectangular logo like I do, I would recommend just go into your media library, which you can just media library, and I'm going to open this in a new tab as to not lose my spot. And then you can come down and click on the regular image, not the retina, but the regular, and you see it's 85 pixels tall. So I'm just going to go enter that in over here, 85, and we're going to save changes. Actually, I'm going to just make it a little smaller and go 75. That way it's kind of a little smaller. It'll make it could help with the visual side of things. So we're going to refresh this, and so you'll see what that does. It just makes the logo a little bit bigger. Now, moving forward, the next thing we're going to do, and you won't need the animation effects. I'm not going to use it, I'll put it that way. The next thing, you'll click on footer. I'm going to turn this off. I'm not going to use that footer section, but I will come down here and I will select the main Instagram or the main social media accounts again. I can't remember what I'm using, so I'm just going to select a few of them. I think Spotify, and done. Save changes. Now what this is going to do is this is going to actually, once again, if you go back to your website, and this is just the recent blog post, you'll see it'll put all the social media icons here. And we have the other one listed with all the social media sites here that we did in the header. So now let's go back to the salient library. And then we're going to come under page header. No, this is going to be a fancy, and I don't know any good examples of this, but it adds when you first land on the site, it adds a full page little graphic that you can do like a call to action or something, and then once they scroll, it disappears. I'm not going to use that. Form styling, won't use. Call to action, I will use. This is going to create a call to action button on the bottom of your website on every page, with the exception of the ones that you don't want it to go to. So the call to action text, because I'm doing shirts, is my main revenue source. That's what I'm actually going to send people to until I do the landing page for the Lions Order Rulebook, which is a book I'm going to be publishing later this year. Then I'll do a call to action to the sales page for the book, or if I do an opt-in for a free copy of it or whatever, you'll want to use the call to action to go to one of two things: somewhere where you can get their lead information, get them to join a group, some type of call to action to get them to do something. So you have, whether it's a X that out, whether it's a opt-in form for a book, a button that, a link to a product that you sell, or something to that nature, so you can actually benefit from whatever this is. So we're just going to put shop our gear. Click here. And then call to action URL, I'm just going to do shop, and we'll actually do the whole thing. HTTPS lionsorder.com, and we're going to select shop here because you don't want them to have a link on the shop page to go to the shop page. So whatever this link is going to, if it's a page on your website, you want to make sure you make that exclusion so they don't have that listed there. And then you're going to go to the background color. We're going to go, let's take this to black, and that'll work. We'll go kind of a gray. The font, make that color. And now the button, we'll do the accent color. That's going to be that orange we selected earlier, and click Save Changes. And now, once again, if you refresh your page and you go back to the bottom, you will see that it's listed right here. And it's going to be the same thing on every page with the exception of the shop page. So if you click on it, it'll automatically take you over to the shop page so people can start buying your awesome gear. Now, back to the salient settings. You won't use the portfolio. We will go into the blog just to make sure you have the visuals the way you want it. I'm going to keep it with the standard blog with the sidebar. You can choose different styles, and visually it just changes how it looks. So if you do like masonry style, I'll just go ahead and save so you can see what it does. And you see it used to lay down. Now if you go to it, it's just boxes, right? So you can see the difference in what it does and how it works. I just personally like the other style. So we're going to go back to standard blog with sidebar and save changes. And like I said, feel free to come through and play with this stuff. Just make sure you get it the way you want it to look. It's your website. You know your target market. I don't. Next thing is your contact. If you are a local brick and mortar, you'll want to make sure you include your map and everything else, which you can do this way. You can also do it in the back end and actually like in the page itself. Home slider we won't touch. Social media, this is where you're going to paste in all of your URLs. But because I'm trying to move through this and I only have 8 minutes, we're going to move over to the pages and do all pages. And I'm not going to be able to get through the entire thing, I don't think, but we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to create our home page now. So we're going to click Add New. Actually, before we do this, let's go Nectar Slider, All Slides, and Add New. This is going to be what I call the hero image, which is the first thing that actually shows up on the website. So we're going to go ahead and upload that file, select Files, and I have this ready. Like I said, I will have this in a Photoshop file, so you guys actually have the measurements and dimensions, so it will work the exact same way that I have it here. So we have that here, alt text, hero image for Lions Order. For Lions Order. It's a new way of saying lion, only in Tennessee. Alright, so we have that. We'll select File. Then you can choose to add texture over the image. I'm not going to. The image is extremely high resolution, so if you have a low resolution image, this will help you kind of cover up the imperfections. Background alignment, we're going to put that center. Slide font color will be light. The heading, we have all this, there we go, in the text file. So we'll close out these three, and then we'll come into the content. And so this heading, let's move this over and shrink this down a bit. That way I can access this as we're building the page. And bear with me because this next few steps may go by fairly quick. Alright, so now we're going to get started. So the heading is going to be Welcome to Lions Order. I already had that typed in. Let's get rid of the yellow. I don't like that. Caption will be this right here. So I'm going to copy and paste here. And anytime you want to break in this section where you don't want it to be one solid line, you want to include this small HTML code, which basically means this is a line break, BR for break. Just remember that, you're good to go. And each time you do this, it'll break down to the next line. So we're going to do that. We're going to click the button to make the arrow show up. It's going to just let people know there's more content underneath. And then here I have blog and shop for the links. So the button text here will be blog. The button link will be /blog. And then these I'm going to leave the same. The next one will be shop. And then /shop. And then you're going to come down here. The horizontal alignment is going to be left. Vertical alignment will be middle. And now that you have that, The only other thing to do, and I'm going to bring this back out so you can see it the way you probably will be doing it, is to add a new slider location for Lions Order Home. And you can do this homepage. You can do this with whatever your name is, or you can call it Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious if you want to. Cannot believe I just got that out. And click Add New Slider Location, and then click Publish. This is going to make this image and the call to actions and stuff on it all accessible for the front page. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead into Pages. Pages, Add New, and now we're going to create our home page. Basically put, the title needs to be the name of your business, and maybe squeeze in a couple keywords or something that will maybe grab someone's attention. So I'm going to put Lions Order Ultimate Entrepreneur Lifestyle Blog. So that'll work for now. Next thing you're going to do is click on Page Builder. Sorry about that. Now that you're on the Page Builder, the one thing you're going to want to do to get started is click on Add Element and click on Nectar Slider. And you're going to see where the homepage slider is selected. You'll choose the slider height, which I'm going to use the default 650, and then you'll display full width, full screen slider, and then you'll also want, if you want, it's up to you, I'm going to choose the parallax slider, and then I'm going to save changes. And if you publish, you can actually look, and it won't be on your home page yet, we have to change those settings, but you can go right click View Page, Open Tab, and then there you have so far what your home page is going to look like. Now you can change some stuff, and you see we don't have a menu here, we don't have anything else done here, but you can see where it's going, how it's going to look. For a good example, getting started, it looks crisp, looks clean. That being said, I need to head out for my meeting. I will be back after the meeting to finish this up, finish recording the steps, and we'll get the website wrapped up. And it's, let's see, 1:28 on Monday. I'll be back around 3:15, 3:30ish. Get this site finished, and should have it up live later this evening. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. We'll catch you in a sec. Alright, so we are back. Going to be moving forward, building the website out. Before we do, I'm going to change some settings in the header. As you see, going through, the background image is, or the background color in the header and in the secondary header are light. So I'm going to need to make this, for the visual aspect, I'm going to go with a dark background. So we're going to come in, and I'm going to leave the main edit page up that I had before, and I'm just going to open a new tab under the general settings here, under salient, and I'm going to go ahead and come into header navigation, and then I'm going to come down, and there should be right here where it says header color scheme. I'm going to change this to dark and save changes. And if you go back to your site and refresh, you will see the difference. So it actually makes this black, and it will actually drop out to black here when you scroll down the page. So the next thing we're going to need to do to finish this part of the website is to actually start putting the menus together real quick. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to go under Appearance and go down to Menu, or Menus, and we're going to create two different menus. We're going to create a main menu, which is going to be the primary, and then we're going to create a legal menu. So we're just going to put Lions Order Main and create menu. And this is going to be the menu that shows up Let's get rid of some of these here. When you're on the website, it's the menu that's going to show and list the information here. So we're going to come in, and you're going to want to put blog, contact, about. We're going to also do custom links. And I'm going to put the actual site in. So we're going to do https liansorder.com. Link text will be home and add to menu. And then we're going to come in here and select all the other ones we're going to need. So we're going to do about, contact, blog. I'm trying to remember. Once again, I had the stuff ready. Okay, here we go. And we're going to add to menu. There's a couple other pages that I needed to create that I didn't. So I'm going to just save this right now, go create those pages, and then come back and add them. So we're going to come into pages and all pages and open a new tab. I just want to make sure I see what I don't have right now. And of course, this is the home page. We're not going to set that URL right now. We're going to do... we need I need the resources page and the hustle report page. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do add new. And this is just extra pages that I'm going to have. You don't need to create these pages. But if you want more pages to show up in your menu, you need to create them first. So we're just going to do resources and publish. And then new page, or new page, not view page. Sorry, taking a little time. Add new here for a new page, and then the next one's going to be the hustle report. And this is going to be a page that lists the blog post category for the hustle report, which is going to be the behind the scenes type stuff for the blog. So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish here. And now we're going to go through and finish the menus. Make sure we get everything set up right. So we're going to come down again to appearance and menus. And if you're not using Salient, this feature I'm about to do, you're not going to see it. This is exclusive to the Salient theme. So we're going to move resources up. Here we're going to bring contact down, the home about, we'll need shop, add to cart, bring shop up here, blog, resources. Okay, and so this is the menu I'm going to use. The feature within Salient that I was talking about a second ago is the button feature. So if you come down under the hustle report, you see menu item style, you can actually come in, and I'm going to do button accent color and hit save menu. And I forgot, I got to add it to the top navigational menu there and save menu. And now if you go back to the site and hit refresh, you'll see the menu show up, and you'll see the button feature that it did here with the hustle report. So now you see the menu, that's all set up. And next thing we're going to do is what I call the legal menu, which is going to go up here where this blank empty space is, which is going to be your legal pages, your terms of use, your earnings disclaimer, and your privacy policy. So we're going to click on create a new menu, and then we're going to just do Lions Order Legal, Lions Order Legal, and click create menu. And then we're simply going to come through, check earnings disclaimer, privacy policy, and terms of use. I tried to say all three at once. It didn't work. And you can set these however you want it. I'm actually going to kind of move these around and do terms of use first, privacy policy second, earnings disclaimer last. Then we're going to click on secondary navigational menu and hit save menu. And if you come back to the site and refresh, you'll see it will list in the top in that section. You'll see the three links here. So now that we have that done, the next thing is to actually place in all of the content that we're going to have with the background images and some videos and some cool content. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the edit page. And if you're not sure where this is, you can go into all pages. You'll find the page that you created for your home page, and you'll simply click edit. Or if you're on the page on your website, whatever page you're on, since this is the page, if you want to edit this one and you're on that page, you can simply click edit page and it'll bring up the editor. So now that you're on the edit page, we're going to come in. If it's not there currently, you'll want to click this button and make sure that you're on the designer visual composer, which is what you're seeing here, so you can actually add the layouts and stuff. And moving forward, we're going to start getting into the meat and potatoes, if you will. So we're going to click plus and add a new row. Now that this is up, as soon as you hit plus, it'll add a row. Using this section will allow you to add additional rows inside of that row in case if you want it broken up differently. But for right now, we're going to do recent posts for this section. So we're going to click on recent posts. We're going to do all right now. I'm going to leave it at default. Feel free to go through these different settings and see visually what works best for you. And then I'm going to do number of columns 4, number of posts 4. So it will show in this section the top 4 or the 4 most recent blog posts. So we're going to click save, and then we're going to go over to this pencil right here, and we're going to change the background. So first thing you're going to do is change the type to full width background. That makes the background full width, but the content is still within the parameters of that page. And it'll make more sense once we get this done and get everything in. So we're going to add the background image. We're going to upload files, and I have that in the folder, and it's going to be this one right here. We're going to open. And once again, you want to make sure that you change the alt text in the description. So we're just going to put Lions order background image for LO blog background set image. And then you can keep it the same if you want. The one thing that you're going to want to do, though, is understand, depending on what the image is, this just has a couple paw prints on the left-hand side. So I have it set to left top. I may actually set that to left center and see if it shows the paw prints up a little bit more. We're not going to repeat the image. It's going to be full width. So you're going to come on down. I'm going to enable parallax background, do the slow speed. And from there, you're going to do text color dark, text alignment, and this one is actually going to stay the same on this one. Actually, no, I'm going to change this one to center. Did I pass it? There we go. Change this to center, and then do color overlay, and I'm going to do a white light overlay and save changes. And this is just going to add a small feature. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go in and delete that overlay, actually, because this image is mostly nothing. So we're just going to clear that and save changes. And then we're going to update. So now if you go back to the site, which we'll go ahead and wait for this to come back through, right click and open a new tab. We're going to close these out. All right, so now if you go back to the site, you'll see it still has the same header and everything, and then moving down the page, you'll see here's the actual most recent blog post. Now, if you notice, the images are directly underneath, and they actually, if you want to call it that, they butt up against this main image. I don't like that look, so I'm going to add some spacing in between there to get it looking back to normal. So we're going to go back to edit page. And then right above it, we're going to click the plus sign, and we're going to come and click on divider. And then we're going to go in here, and we're going to play with these numbers on a lot of these different sections. But for right now, we're going to just go ahead and put in 45. We're not putting a line. We're just going to save changes and update and take a look and see how it looks now. I believe 45 should be a good fit. And like I said, you can play around with it and change it 5-10 at a time to make sure it looks right. I like the way that looks, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. And of course, these are just the placeholders that we put in in the last video. So the next thing we're going to do is put up a content block, if you will. So we're going to go in Edit Page. We're going to come down here, add a new row, and then we're going to come down to Text Block. And then we're going to open back up Word document or text file. We're going to copy this content and we're going to paste it in right here. And this is going to be centered. So you're going to want to make sure, for me at least, I'm going to choose this one to be centered just for the way the content's going to lay out. It's going to look a lot better. I'm going to click Save Changes. And then under this section, I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit. And I'm going to add the white overlay on this one. And of course, the same thing here, full width background. And I'm going to change the color overlay to white. And I'm going to change this to medium. That way it's kind of a darker color in the image that I'm using, which I did not set. So we're going to want the white overlay to make the text easier to read. And I think we're going to do white on that one. I'm almost positive. We'll see once we get it in. So we're going to have this image as the background. And there we go. So now it's uploaded. So we're going to come in here. We're going to change the alt text to Lions Order content block background. Background for Lions Order. And I'm just filling it out and I'm just changing it up a little bit so it doesn't look like everything's copied and pasted in. And then you're going to want to hide the background image on mobile views. Background position, we'll take this center. We're not going to do background repeat, but we are going to enable parallax on this one. Keep it slow. Text color is going to be, let's go dark. Text alignment center. And then after that, the next thing you're going to do is come into color overlay. Make this white, medium, we're good, save changes, and update. So now if you go back to the blog and hit refresh, you'll see the next section is there. And probably we'll have to do a divider. I forgot about the divider. And you see we'll need a divider, some spacing at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to do a good 45 on both of those. So we're just going to, since this one was 45 in the spacing that I want, I'm going to hit this button right here and make a couple copies. Then I'm going to basically just come in and drop them down here. And as you see, it's very simple once you actually get moving. Visually, you can see how it's coming together here. So you can just kind of piece together the content as you're moving. So the next thing I'm going to do, since now that I have the dividers in, I'm going to move on to the next one, which is a really incredibly awesome feature. Which is overlaying, instead of doing a background image, it's actually doing a background video. And the cool part is, instead of you used to have to have different file types to make sure that the video would open on all platforms. Because of the awesome thing called YouTube, you now can use a YouTube link. So we're going to go ahead and come in here and we're going to do animated pie chart. And basically this is just going to be very simple for me. The value is going to be how much of the pie chart is filled. I'm going to do 100 for this. Label value, units, and color. Label value would be I believe we're going to do 24 hours a day. Save changes. And I'm going to change this so it has 3 different sections by clicking on this, and then you see the different layouts with the different columns. So I'm going to choose the 1/3 by 1/3 1/3. If you want something that's not here, you can custom the entire layout, and it works based on fractions. So you need to make sure you figure that out however you want to do it. But because it's set there, I'm going to just go ahead and update that and keep that the same. We'll close that out. I'm going to duplicate this and drop these in here, and then I'm going to go in and customize them for each of the different things. So we have 24 hours in a day. The next one is going to be 7 days a week. Maybe if I don't click off of it on accident. Days a week, and save changes. The next one's going to be 52 weeks a year. 52 weeks per year. Actually, or we can do 365 days a year, but we'll keep it that for now. 24/7, 365 works, but we'll see. That'll work. And then we're going to come in here and hit the pin to edit the background. This is going to be full width background. You're not going to do the content on this one. You will hear, or you might want to. I'm not going to. But right now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to come down and I'm going to actually click on Enable Video Background. And instead of Enable a Color Overlay onto your video, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to make the color overlay a black. And then I'm going to actually change. There we go. Somewhere. Where to go? There we go. I'm going to make sure that I mute the video. You don't want the audio coming through on a website. So as they scroll through, you just see the actual video itself. So instead of actually having to change and do the WebM file and the MP4 file and all these other different file types, you can actually just use a YouTube video. So I'm going to actually open up a new tab and go to youtube.com. And then I'm going to actually go Lions Walking. I think is the one I want. Yeah, here we go. So this is the video that I'm going to put in. And as you see, it's just a whole bunch of lions walking down the street. Honestly, I really love this. It's empowering to me. I love the fact how they captured all of them coming together. And I'm going to double check just to make sure that this one, and this one doesn't, this is a smaller version of the file. So I'm going to continue to look and see if I can find another version that has a higher quality. So I'm going to go Pack of Lions Walking. And see, that may be the only one. Here's another one, the Pack of Lions Walking Majestically Down the Streets of Africa. So I'm going to open this up and see if this one has higher resolution, just so it looks better. And see, I don't believe this one does either, and it doesn't. And I'm trying to figure out how I found it last time. Lions Walking. Let's try this again. I do believe that's going to be the main video. I'm not finding it anywhere else. I'm going to do another page or two. And I'm actually just going to go back and use that one. Because it's a background, it doesn't really need to be high def. It would help. I may have to go back through and see if I can find the video again. I basically had the website done and whatnot and having to redo it. So I don't know what I did with that link. I thought I had it in my notes, but I don't believe it's there, and it's not. So that being said, I'm just going to copy the URL of the video, and I'm going to come in under Edit Page, and I'm going to paste it in right here and hit Save Changes. And then we're going to update. And since we update, you'll see the spacing that we added in the category above it, and then you'll also see the line video in the background, and we'll see how it looks once we're on the site to see if it's actually like decent. And you see it's kind of really blurry, and it's flush again, so we're going to need the dividers again on this one. So we're going to come right back down here, and we're going to duplicate this one twice, and we're going to continue to bring this in. Now, because you're going to have to basically add this spacing to each of these three, one thing that you can do is actually bring this back to 1, and then you'll go in and hit the plus sign, and you'll enter the row, and then you're going to have the row inside of a row, and that will allow you to put the 3 here, move the divider on top of it, and then still keep these in. So basically I'm going to just open this up, and I think it should be in the right order. I believe so. So we're just going to go ahead and drag these back up into the 3 columns. 2 and 3. And then we're going to bring this other divider down to space below. And then we're going to update. So if we go back to the site, we're going to see the spacing. You'll be able to see more of the video. I'm going to have to do some looking around and see if I can find a higher resolution version of this video. But you see we got the cool little graphics here, the lion video, everything is looking good so far. So now we're going to move on to the next section, which is going to be a spotlight, if you will, to drive traffic to shop our store. So we're going to open in a new row, and we're going to come down on this one and do a couple things. So first off, we're going to go ahead and enter in a text block, open up our text file, and then we're going to come down to the content for the section, and we're going to paste that in. Make sure it's centered so it looks right. Hit Save Changes. We're going to duplicate this, bring one down here, duplicate the divider again, move one to the bottom, duplicate again, and you'll see why I'm doing this, and bring that down to the bottom. And you're going to have two duplicates here, but that's fine. We're going to add a button in right in between those. So we're going to come in and we're going to look for button, and I believe it's towards the top, right here, button. So we're going to click button, and then this is where you're going to choose. I'm going to go ahead and make this medium. The link URL is going to be /shop. The text is going to be shop now, and then you're going to come down and click somewhere. Style. No. I'm missing something. There was a way to put in an arrow. CSS animation. No. Icon library. Default error. Arrow, not error. And hit Save Changes. And then you're going to come down, back down here, and you're going to bring this in between these two and update. And now you're going to see that next section has the shop information in it. Of course, the button is not centered. That's going to be in the background settings, which is where we're headed now. Totally forgot to do that part. So basically you're going to come back down in the section and hit the pencil. And then we're going to do full width background. We're going to add the background image, upload file, select file, and then we're going to do lines order shop, upload. And just a heads up for you guys who see this, this is not an actual Lions Order shop. This was done in Photoshop. I couldn't pass it up. I had fun doing that. Alt text is going to be Lions Order shop. We'll do Lions Order shop for motivational t-shirts. Why not? Set image. Alright, now that you have that, you're going to come down. We're going to change the background position to center. No background repeat. We will enable the parallax, keep it at slow. And then once you have that, text alignment here is going to be center. Even though you centered the text in this block, the button was aligning left. In order to center that, you'll need to change this here. Hit Save Changes and update. And I believe that'll do it. Now I got the hiccups. Alright, let's see what we'll see, won't we? Okay, now there you go. Everything is good. The only thing is it's hard to read the text. So what I would recommend now is to actually go back in and add a white color overlay. And I'm going to do that by going back into the pencil and add the overlay, color overlay, change the color to white. Overlay strength, let's try medium and see how that looks and update. Let's go back, refresh. And once again, you see it's still kind of hard to read, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in and change the color of the text to make it more of a black instead of that light gray that it is now. So we're going to come in here and edit. And then we're going to select all and hit the kitchen sink or the toolbar. Then we're going to come here, change it to black. And then if you want, really, you can come in here and you can change the font size. I'm going to go ahead and take it to 18 and save changes. Update, and then we're going to take a look and see how that looks. It may be too big, but we'll find out here in a second. I might have to, yeah, it's too big for me. I just honestly, it's too big. I'm going to have to change that back down. So we're going to go ahead in here, and we're going to change that back like 16 or 14 or something. So we'll get all that selected and 14. Save changes. Update back here and refresh, and it should be good to go now. Just with the darker text, to me it looks a lot easier to read, although it does still kind of blend into the background. So you may want to come in, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot, change the background to a higher overlay strength so we can go kind of heavy, save changes, and see if that actually, an update, see if that made a little bit of a difference. And it should really help long term visually to make it easier to see. To me, that works. So we're going to go to the next section. Unfortunately, this section took me forever, the original build. So I may or may not get a little frustrated here in a second, but we'll find out. So we're going to come down, select one new row, and this is going to be the last row for me. Basically, it's going to have a call to action to join the Facebook group that I've created. So for starters, I need to come over to Facebook and grab the URL I need, which is this one right here. And this is just a basic group. If you're not in it yet, please feel free to check into it. Click the link on the website that we're about to put up to get you to the group to request access. We're going to go ahead and copy this. And it's just a easy way to have contact with me and the other people who are associated with Lions Order, to just pretty much connect with like-minded individuals who focus on entrepreneurship and personal development and everything associated with that. So we're going to come in here and edit page, and we're going to add a text block. And hit save changes. I'm going to edit the text in a second. We're going to make this, make sure I do this right. I think we're going to do 2 and 2, and then we're going to open this up and do an image, single image, and then we're going to upload the actual logo, which I should have in here. I hope I still have it at least. And I'm not seeing it. I had one made for this. Basically put, I'm going to be looking for a logo that I'm going to be putting into that section. And I don't see it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come into this image here that we used originally for the little featured image that actually turned into your favicon. I'm going to right click, and actually I can't do that here. I'm going to back out, and I'm going to change the color of it over in Photoshop. So you get to see some more behind the scenes awesome stuff, right? So we're going to come in, I'm going to open that up. Open with. Computer just takes too long. I need a SSD in here like so bad. And we're going to open with Photoshop. And once this opens, I'm going to just do a basic color overlay and resave the image. That way it's white, because the background on this slide is going to be a darker background, so the white logo is going to look better. While that opens, we're going to come back in here, and I'm going to actually exit this out. It's still there, so we can change that later. Now I'm going to actually duplicate this a couple more times, and then we're going to drop the dividers in. Now that we're dropping these dividers in, we're going to, and it's without a shadow of a doubt, like going to have to come in and change the height on these, simply for visual reasons. The aesthetics, like the way it actually, the group link URL, we got the Facebook link. We're going to go back to Medium, and the text is going to be request access now. And then we're going to come down to, what was it? Icon library, default arrow, save changes. All right. Now that we have that, actually, let's go ahead and change this. I wanted to get that done while I had the link copied. We're going to copy this. We're going to paste it in here. Save changes. We're going to come in here. We're going to add the background image. Make sure we set everything to align center. And that's going to be center inside the columns, just so that doesn't like really confuse you. Text color is going to be light, since we're going to do a black or a dark, I guess technically black background. Of course, once again, we're going to do full width background. Hit plus, select files, and then we're going to upload the last one, which is this one. Which is the same as the first block that we did the blog in. This one right here. It's just inverted color, so it's more of a dark, well, not really inverted, but you know what I mean. It's the same picture, just darker instead of the light background. All text is going to be Lions Order Pride background. And set image. We're not going to do any color overlay on this because it's already dark. We're not going to really need it. I'm going to come down and double check and make sure I have everything good right. Yeah, I feel like there we go. Text color light. Just wanted to double check on that. Save changes. And at this point, we're going to go into Photoshop. Lovely. I love when it does this. So it's going to shut down, and we're going to have to reopen that file. It's the downside with working with older software. Sometimes it messes up. I've not had the chance to update to the Creative Cloud yet, so I'm still using my ridiculously old version of Photoshop CS4. Anyways, so we're going to open Photoshop, and we're going to go into this section, and we're going to add another divider here. And because I know there's going to be a huge empty space here, we're going to have the divider over here quite a bit larger on the text, so it will actually center right. So we're going to come in here and do color overlay. So we're going to come in, select the layer styles and color overlay. We're going to make it white. And I mean, you can change this. You can do whatever you want. I might actually, we'll go into effects. Look into styles. You can do custom styles. Look it up, Photoshop styles on Google. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one, which adds kind of a gold look to it. To make sure it looks right, we're going to go ahead and add a black background to this real quick, just to make sure with the transparency that it has, it still looks the way I want it. So we're going to go ahead and drop here. And that's the way to look on the site. So now I can actually come in here and play with the style, the settings within the style, to actually make sure it works right. So we can actually brighten that up, which I think looks a lot better. Won't really concern about the drop shadow. We can look at the stroke, maybe make it a little thicker if you want. So we're going to keep it there. Opacity. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to go ahead and leave that there. We're going to uncheck this, and we're going to export this as a PNG without the drop shadow. Anytime you have an image lined up without the borders, or a file inside of Photoshop, you don't want to have the drop box, because it's just going to have the shadow break where that line is. So we're just going to go ahead and turn the drop shadow off. Since it's going on black, we won't really notice anything. File, save as. Made a mistake. If you're working in Photoshop, just a quick disclaimer, back out. Don't save as. You want to do save for web and devices, so you can make sure that the image is optimized so it doesn't take forever to load. So we're going to come up here, we're going to change this to PNG. Make sure transparency is checked, and then I'm going to select this one right here and save. And then you're going to want to rename it and place it wherever you need it. So I'm going to go in Lions order, website, and then we're just going to do gold Lions order logo and save. So now that we have that, we can come back in here, click the pencil for the single image, and then we're going to actually upload that image now. So we're going to upload, select files, and then we're going to come back out to the main folder, and I think it was, yeah, here we go. So gold Lions order logo and open. And this is where it might get a little complicated, because I'm going to play around with the different sizes. Gold Lions order logo. All right. And if you can't tell, I'm horrible at multitasking. So if I'm typing, there's no way I'm talking. I'm going to line this center. I'm not going to do a fade in, so I'm going to click on none. The less animation, the better visually. And when it comes to having your page load without having to deal with CSS animation and stuff, it will load a lot faster. We're not going to link it out to anything. We're not going to do a box shadow. Max width at 100%. We're going to click save. And at this point, if you update, and it's going to look totally horrible right now, and I know it is because it took me a minute when I did the original design on this to get it to look right. I can't remember what I did. So you see, it's like super big, and I don't want it that big. So at this point, I'm going to come back into edit page. Since it goes full width on that, we're going to come down and we're going to actually change this over to 3 columns, and then we're going to change and move these over here, and that'll basically leave an empty section in the middle, so you won't have to actually worry about anything. We're going to update now and see what the difference is in the website. So you'll see it'll change a little bit of the layout and the way everything works, but we will be fine. Now that we have that, you see where we need the more spacing and a headline of some sort, and get this to where it's kind of even, vertically even with the logo. So in order to do that, we're going to come in here. Let's let's add a centered heading, and we're going to put join the pride. And then I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to turn this into impact, and we're going to move this up to 18 for the header. We have that. We have the divider. Now let's look at the divider here. It's at 45. We're going to leave that one there to put spacing in between these two sections, but we're going to duplicate and we're going to move one back up here, and we're going to change this. And I'm going to actually change this massively, and let's put it at 100 pixels with no line. Click Save Changes and Update, and let's see where we sit now. So you can see it'll be a little bit of a difference. And so you see at some point I put with a line. I don't know why, but I did, and that's all that matters. So we're going to come down here, no line, centered heading. So at some point, the centered heading is forcing a underline, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We're going to remove this, and I'm going to add in another text block to make the heading. Text block. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to just go join the pride. And I'm going to make this center just to make sure everything is kosher. We're going to take this back up to 18 and impact again and save changes. And update. And I think we should be good now. Let's refresh and find out. All right, so we're good to go, with the exception of having to move this back down. Didn't actually get it underneath the divider. So now that that's there, we'll update one more time. And then everything should be good now, for the home page. And we are good to go. So that's the home page. We got everything done. We got the call to action at the footer. If you wanted to add more stuff in the footer, feel free. You can do that in the footer section in the salient settings. But this is what I have for the home page right now. The next thing I'm going to do is to work on the about page, which once again, I still have everything kind of set up for it. It's template based, so we're going to use one of the templates on that one. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on About. This is going to take you to the blank page that we created earlier, and I'm going to click Edit Page. Now that we have this up, it's going to be a real quick boom, 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 so just stick with me. So we're going to go ahead and click on Page Builder, and then you're going to want to click this section right here for the templates, in case if you need help visually designing your pages. This is a great way to get this stuff already kind of laid out to where you just kind of have to copy and paste and replace the content. So I'm going to come down. There's one specific, well, it's in the About section, so that'll help. So there's one specific one that I was going to use. So we're going to scroll down here and see if I can find that one again. And it was this one. It's personal story. We're going to click this. It's going to automatically install what you need right here. So to get started, we're going to come in here, and you don't see the image here. That's because it's set as the background. So we're going to click on the pencil. Maybe, there we go. Click on the pencil, and we're going to come down, and we're going to X out this background image, and we're going to add our own. And so I'm going to come back in to upload files, select files, and I'm going to click this one and open. And now that that's up, or uploading, there we go. Once again, you're going to want to change all text and description. So I'm just going to do CJ Halleck about image. And set image. So that's going to stay there. We're going to save image. And then now we're going to come over to this information. And the first thing we're going to do, so I don't forget it, because purple does not really go along with my color scheme, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to set the blue and click Save Changes. And then I'm going to just slowly come through and edit this information. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to leave one letter just to make it easier so it doesn't change anything. And I'm going to just do CJ Halleck, and then I'm going to, at that point, remove that. I guess I'll add these in and Save Changes. And then the next thing is your big block quote, in the template at least. So I'm going to come down here in the text edit and copy what I have for that. And then I'm going to come through and paste and Save Changes. Then I'm going to come into the other text block and do the same thing with that content that I have. Select all and delete and paste. And I wanted to double check to make sure that link is good, and it is, which is just a link over to my book on the Stay Boosted book. So we're going to save changes here. And now that that's done, the next thing we're going to need to do is the milestone. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this, and we're going to change this to 14 plus, actually, yeah, I'll do plus. And then this is the add-on to what the milestone is. So I'm just going to actually come through, and I'm going to change the color of this. Actually, let's do it all at once. To that blue. So we're going to click blue, and then I'm going to edit this to years of marketing experience and Save Changes. And now that we have that, the next thing is to edit these two boxes, which are two featured images. So we're going to come down here, once again, change the background color to the blue. And once we have that, we're going to X out of this image, add a new background image. We're going to upload, select, and then we're going to need, that's the second image. This is the first. So we're going to upload the image. It's going to keep that overlay the way it was in purple. This is just going to be in blue. This is a picture of the conference room that I held my social media matrix in a couple years ago, which is there will be one next year. We're actually going to do a huge Lions Order conference, if you will, 2018, probably September, October 2018. So we'll do social media matrix, which is just going to be a business conference. We're going to have some personal development speakers and coaches and a whole bunch of stuff going on that. Some social media matrix. Set image. So basically put, now that you have that, you want to double check, and I know I did it, but I'm looking again just to play it safe. Double check the background color, click Save Changes, and then you're going to do the same here and upload. Make sure you're uploading the images that you need. Yeah, I had that right. So you're going to click here. Once again, change the background color. We're putting it back to the blue. And then you're basically just changing out the image, and then this will be it for the About page, believe it or not. And then after that, it's basically just doing the meat and potatoes on the rest of the stuff on the site. So we're going to do the image, which is the picture of me and my lovely wife. And now that that's done, of course, you're going to want to do CJ Halleck and wife. CJ Halleck and wife. I don't really need it to put that, but why not? Okay, so that's there. We're going to save changes. We're going to update. And then at this point, once it's finished, you can click on View Page, and I'm going to open it in a new tab. So this is open in case if I need to change something. And hopefully, we'll have the entire page the way we want it. So we got the hero image, the main image here. I have my main success quote, my write-up for the About section. And we have 14 plus years of marketing experience. Everything else looks good. The only thing I would like to do, and I'm going to come in here and take a look at it, and unfortunately there is nothing. I was looking to see if we can actually change the spacing here, but the way it looks, it works for me. I'm good to go. So that is my About page. That being said, I'm going to hop off of here, work on getting these videos uploaded for you guys so you can see the process, possibly do some more as we start building out the resource page. Which is going to be a little complicated because I'm kind of bringing over some resources from the Small Biz Academy and the other things, the ebook library from Stay Boosted and everything else. We're just going to make this the best flipping self-help, personal development, business entrepreneur website on the internet. That being said, now the one thing we did not do, and that's why I just wanted to check real quick before I forget. If you go to the home page, you see it's still set up to display your blogs. So the thing I'm going to need to do next is to actually go in the dashboard and change in the reading settings. As I said earlier, way earlier, that's one of the things in the settings that we're going to have to come back to. So we're going to click on reading, and what we're going to do is we're going to set the home page and the blog page. So we're going to click a static page here, and we're going to set the front page here, and then we're going to set the post page to blog. And once you do that, that means anytime someone goes to linesorder.com/blog, it will automatically bring up all your blog posts. And then when they go to linesorder.com, it'll go to this page, which is your home page. So we're going to save changes. And now, if you go back to the website, you will see the home page is done. And it's on the home page. So everything is good to go. We got the recent posts. We got the content. We got the right spacing on everything. The only thing I think I'm going to change is I'm going to change the colors here real quick before I forget, just to make it a little easier to read in that section, and maybe add a little bit more of a color overlay to it. So we're going to come in here, and it was in this section, so we're going to edit the text block. We're going to select all, I think, make sure. Okay, select all, and then we're going to just come in here and select black, and design options. That's not it. Save changes. It's up here. And then we're basically just going to come into color overlay and maybe make it heavy and see what that looks like and update. It's the ongoing task. You're going to always continue to bounce back and forth settings and things to make sure it looks perfect for you. And moving forward, I think that's good. It's just enough to where you can see the Lions Order logo and the wax stamp, but it does its job. There's a few misspellings and stuff I'll have to completely tear the site apart for grammar reasons, make sure everything is spelled right and whatnot once I get this done. But that being said, I am done for now. If you followed along, thank you so much for following along with me as we build out the site. I hope that you absolutely loved this. I hope it helped you. I'm trying to stop the hiccups. It's driving me crazy. At this point, we have the shop up, we have the website live, the about page live, and then at this point it's basically wrapping up with the Hustle Report page to get the recent posts from that category, the resources page to fill out all the resources you guys need, and then moving forward a very simple process of putting out some amazing quality content. So that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care.